We next have Philip London from Simple Energy, who's going to talk about the important issue of overcoming barriers to EV adoption.
Hi, everyone. All right. Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight. As Kendra mentioned, I'm going to be talking about EVs. What's the big deal? What are the current barriers to adopting them? And how do we help consumers overcome these barriers? So it seems like every day there's a new story that comes out in a tech or energy blog about EVs, whether it's a fleet electrification commitment from a manufacturer, projections for sales, or a lifestyle piece about Tesla's CEO. So when we dig into this, the buzz really is justified. In fact, if every car in the US was an EV, we would see a 62% reduction in vehicle emissions. And that number is only going to grow as grids get cleaner and cleaner across the country. So what's going on? Why aren't more people purchasing these vehicles? Well, in fact, when we survey consumers about this very topic, there's a consistent disparity between what customers say they intend to do and what they actually do, with an impact of up to 10x people saying that they intend to buy versus actually buying. There's a lot of concerns that consumers have about EVs. This ranges from things like high upfront costs, which is offset by rebates, but there's some confusion around those, to things like range anxiety, even though Scott is working on those as we speak. Dealerships have traditionally not been the answer as well. So several blind studies of dealers have shown that sales staff were often ill-equipped to talk about EVs or would steer potential drivers away into gasoline or hybrid models instead. Despite this, the auto manufacturers are making big bets on EVs, with many of the top manufacturers committing to 10 to 20 new models over the next 5 or 6 years. It's also not just the auto manufacturers that have a lot to gain from EVs. So more so than ever, consumers have choices when it comes to powering their home, and utilities are constantly looking for ways to diversify their revenue streams, to promote a green image, and engage with their consumers more and more. So where does Simple Energy come into all of this? Well, Simple Energy is a mission-driven B Corp, and our sweet spot in the market has been taking something complex and making it easier for consumers. We've done this at scale by partnering with utilities to deploy solutions in a lot of different ways. So how do we extend this to electric vehicles? Well, we took a step back and we thought about how do people actually buy cars in the first place? So in our research, we found that people spend about 14.4 hours over 2 months when considering a new vehicle purchase. 59% of this time is spent online, and we set out to build a solution that acts as various touch points along the way. So here's an early version of what the solution looks like. I don't think it looks too bad, honestly, but when we took a step back, we thought about, is this really taking something complicated and making it simple for a user? So from here, we started coming up with different ideas. We started asking consumers, that's the next slide, quick preview on that. We did some research. We looked into principles of user-centered product design, and we found a couple themes. There's a lot of interest and excitement around EVs, and there's also a lack of information about them. So here's the testing that I alluded to before. So we ran several A/B tests with users, and we started asking them questions about what they care about when they purchase a car. We found out more about that and about how they would interact with our experience. We found that consistently people care about a lot of the same things when they're looking to buy, but how they rank these different options varies wildly depending on demographics and other factors. So from here, what we did is we created an algorithm that took the answers to the questions and looked at all the EVs on the market and ran this through a decision-making engine to return a prioritized list of personalized recommended vehicles to each user. At this point, we felt like we were finally ready to build our MVP, or our minimum viable product. So here's what this looks like right here. So as you can see, this is the results page that a user would see after answering a few questions. We match them with different vehicles, and we also create custom content depending on how they answered each question. So our next step was, how do we deploy this at scale? We created an embeddable piece of code that goes directly on a utility's website, and it's extremely flexible. It blends into the look and the feel of the utility site, and it allows us to push changes without requiring a code change from the utility. The early results have been pretty promising. We've already recommended over 6,000 vehicles to date, and we're looking at expanding our customer reach from 5 million today to 15 million by the end of the quarter. But we're not stopping here. So next, we're looking at that final step of the purchase process, and we want to actually get people in cars. We're looking to set up ride and drive events at locations across the country where users can go and test drive any of the models that they see within the quiz results. So we're super excited about the future of EVs, and we're excited to be playing a role in it. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone, including our amazing designer, Sarah, who's in the audience today. So thank you, guys.